Alright, so I'm live on the trailer bike again. This bike holds up to 440 pounds, so it's real heavy duty. Word to the wise, if you want courier work, remember to come to a full stop at any red light before you put your feet down. Otherwise, you can really wreck your large toes and top of the foot and ankles. So it really does compound your weight multiple times. So you have to come to a full stop. Otherwise, you think, oh, my feet will get stronger. No, it's multiple times your body weight. So be careful. When you work with trailers, with the starting and stopping, you have to be like super careful. Come to a full stop, slow down. Once the vehicle is completely at 0 miles per hour, then lower your legs to the ground. I'm not even kidding. So my popped ankle from over a week ago is about 80% healed. Like, it still hurts, but I can work through it today. Hopefully in the next few days we'll be back to 100%. All right, anyway, I'm heading down to 57, so I'm gonna flip forward, and we're heading down Broadway. I had 2 Zabar's pickups from the iconic Upper West Side restaurant. Excuse me. Dad helped me celebrate my completion of my college degrees. Took me to Zabar's for a treat one day to congratulate me on completing my double major at college. It was a nice day. Thank you, Dad. Oh, man. All right, so to the fathers and grandfathers and folks who are blessed to have children celebrating, I hope you had a good Father's Day and that you either had amends or had a good gathering with your families and sons and grandsons and daughters and granddaughters and new relatives. It's an exciting day, Father's Day. It was yesterday, June 16th. It's Monday, June 17th. I'm on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. This is where I grew up. On 82nd, I grew up on 94th Street. And it's a lovely neighborhood. Mostly professionals. Doctors and lawyers, yes, but also teachers and artists and writers. So the energy of the Upper West Side has always been, I grew up here, so it's always been a thriving lower to upper middle class. Like, no one's super rich usually, but of note, but the working middle class, and also city workers as well. But a thriving arts community and schools here. A lot of very famous minds in any field live on the Upper West Side of New York. It's one of the more well-known communities north of 59th Street, just south of Harlem. And Harlem has certainly been upgraded in the last 30 years and more integrated. It used to be a thriving community for African Americans. Says it's up and downs the last 100 years. But if you haven't been up to Harlem, it has changed. Yeah, but I grew up on the Upper West Side. So it's 79th Street. Got 20 more blocks down to this pickup. Hi, it's Josh doing courier work on the Upper West Side. This is the Apthorpe building. A lot of famous actors live here. Tom Hanks used to run. You'd see him run out of that gate to the park. So if you were lucky and you timed it right, folks would chase him for autographs or to take photos, paparazzi. Because he'd like to just go in his running shorts and just go for run over to Central Park and go around, run back. So you could see him here. Also, other famous writers, including a lot of movies. This building here on the right. Try and get a photo of the main gate. It's like the 79th Street equivalent of the Dakota, where a lot of famous millionaires live. This is the famous Apthorpe building. It's got a nice courtyard inside. It's like a European style wonderful space. I've done a couple of deliveries here, but not very many. I guess the companies that I work for aren't sort of higher end delivery items, so maybe it was just like a cleaning company or clothes or fashion. I can't remember what I dropped off there. I don't think it was food. We're passing the Hotel Belclair, which was one of the ones targeted by the mayor that had to use half of its units at a time for the homeless. So you'd have these homeless men who were from mental hospitals who had no life skills, and they would sleep out on the street at night. They'd come out on the street at night and like congregate and drink, but they had rooms at the Belclair, these other hotels. So folks started complaining about these hundreds of men who had no intention of looking for jobs, but had, based on the welfare of the state, because there's nowhere else to put them, the city was paying for their hotel rooms in these swank hotels. The Belclair was one of them. I took a few photos when it happened because it was just so stunning. And all the community boards of the Upper West Side came together. It took about a year for them to change, go back to the policy and have the taxpayer money go to something else, as the city made more shelters and tried to deal with the homeless crisis and indigents. The other thing that is crazy is because of the migrant problems in Texas and the southern states, they were giving them one-way tickets to New York and Detroit and DC for years. So the mayor was filing suit to 16 bus companies because, let's say you're a mayor in Texas, you'd take a few $1,000, put hundreds of untrained migrants from Mexico, send them up with a one-way ticket to New York, drop them off in Port Authority, and then they had nowhere to go. So the mayor had an influx of, yeah, it's a true story. This was happening in America, in a lot of other cities, because they're just overcrowded and they had no army base or barracks to build, and they had no jobs for these people, and they had no training and no documents. Crazy. So see how that's going. We are the immigrant nation of the world. Well, suffice it to say, I went back to the park yesterday to sell after success in Washington Square Park, and I made almost no sales and 5 sales, so it really crushed my pocketbook. Should have gone straight to Washington Square Park. So it was Father's Day, so there was a large crowds. But no fathers stopped to buy comics for their kids. Only 1 or 2 of them did. And what can I tell you? I only had 5 or 6 of them on Father's Day, and I was expecting, hey, maybe I'll make a couple $100 here or something, but it was nowhere close to a fraction of that. It was just so devastating. Barely made my lunch money, travel money for the day. Barely broke even, you know? And what a wasted day. So I will go back to Washington Square Park from now on until I find a better, a fare that has no fee, or has if it's a $20 or $50 table fee, I'll try it. But sometimes these fairs, to go to these street fairs and set up a small booth, they charge you $100 or $200 for the day. And if you can get a small space, and yeah, sometimes you can go and vendors don't show up, so space opens up. So then you can go to the manager and be like, hey, space number 191, can I take my books and sell my books in space 191 or whatever? And they'll say, yeah. Maybe somebody, they'll give you a discount, maybe, or they'll give you the standard rate. If it's $50 or something, I'll give it a try. But I can't afford $200. It's not worth it to me. So I've never made that much on the street. It's ridiculous, a ridiculous situation for me from a business perspective. So, and that's what I have to say at this point. So, The other thing is if I had extra money, I gotta go to my storage closet and make space for a trailer, or at least another D cart, to have a set of comics that I can sell. If I have like three remote boxes there, I can just fill up a shopping bag with the more expensive ones, or like a gym bag, and transport them by train. But then, like, after my morning work, I can go to my storage closet on 23rd and load up, like, with my bicycle and trailer, or with a hand cart, and walk from 23rd to the train, and then go down to Washington Square Park, try it for the afternoon, if I don't get other work, that is, and try and just make a few bucks, and then just bring it back to the storage place until I get something better. I mean, all the stuff that I'm applying to online, all my qualifications, it's just so frustrating, like, not getting any work as an online tutor. And I have one summer student lined up for the SAT, but, you know, I was hoping for it. I should do the free online class just to keep myself rolling one night a week, which I was doing on Zoom by donation, because it shows my effort and all that I've done to, and then I can further update my lessons and keep it going well. The big decision I've already made for next year for the SHSAT is 15 question sets instead of 30. So I think that I was thinking about adolescent development issues again, and that it can be very encouraging for students to give them large groups of problems when they can only do maybe a third of them. Because even the top students, they sink or swim for them, but the middle learners aren't progressing at this rate that I was hoping for. So I remember devouring, doing hundreds of problems as a child. That's how I got into science. But for the average student, I think 15 is enough, and then offer extra sets for other students who really want to devour the material. I think I've been making the wrong approach these last 10 years. And of course, you know, I have had at this point dozens of students get into Brooklyn Tech and science and Stuyvesant. But I'd like to get those percentages much higher, have a higher success rate. And other students' parents are like, well, you know, you got ahead in your math for the other high schools that you'll be attending. And it also has helped them earn, you know, scholarships to private schools and partial scholarships. So I'm happy about that success. But in terms of serving the community, I'm going to switch to 15 question lesson sets. All right, I gotta cut over to 57th, and I don't know the address here, so have a good day. This is Josh, live on Columbus and 59th Street, going around the rotunda to make another delivery. 9:25 a.m.